now tuned into The Truth with G. Inspire, educate, and uplift. If you can't handle the truth, this ain't the show for you. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So sit back, relax, and buckle up and enjoy this ride.
The Truth with G. The Truth with G. The Truth with G. All right. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to The Truth with G on WPMM Internet Radio. I am your boy, Gerald Graham, also known as G. Once again, we are back to talk about the issues that matter to you and your community. It is Thursday. Hope all is doing well. We are on the down slope to the weekend once again. Another week has passed us. One more day to the weekend. Hope you had a great week so far. Hope you have a great ending to your week and even a better weekend. Hopefully the weather will hold up on us this weekend so we can get outside a little bit. Last weekend was a little cold out there. And it was still nice weather, but it was a little chilly over the weekend. Expected to be up in the 70s this weekend, 70s, low 80s. So looks like we'll have a better weekend. I think there's a chance of rain one of them days, but I'm not your official weatherman, so don't make your plans around what I say. But I want to thank you for joining me right here once again on WPMM Radio for The Truth with G. We're here every Monday, Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time is when you can catch us. Thank you to my listening audience. As I always tell people, I have the greatest audience in the world, and I really do appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to the show. We are on Facebook. We got a couple people on Facebook already. Miss Deborah Rivers is on. Good to see you. That's my ride or die right there. Miss Dorothy Saver is another ride or die with me. That's been with me for 3 years. Been going on 3 years. We ain't 3 years yet. We headed that way. But I have some people that have been with me since day one, and I really do appreciate it. But I appreciate anyone that listens to the show, whether you heard one show or 100 shows. You know, I appreciate it. 3 years worth of shows that started out, we were doing it 3 days a week. And gas prices went up, and we kind of went down to 2 days a week. And, well, that wasn't really the reason. That was one of the reasons, but that wasn't really the reasons. But anyway, appreciate you listening. Also, before I even get into the particulars, I want to bring something to you guys' attention that I posted. By the way, if you see me kind of duck away from the microphone, if you're on Facebook, if you see me duck away from the microphone, that's because I'm still slightly under the weather and still nursing a little cold here. So I don't want to. I'm trying to make sure that I mute and do everything I have to do so I'm not coughing in your ear. So I apologize if I slip up on you. Miss Minnie Watkins has joined us as well. How you doing, Miss Minnie? But I want to bring something to your attention. It's an honor. It's an honor. On July 16th, at the Grotto Hall in Pensacola, Grotto Hall, July 16th, it's going to be the inaugural Black Men Crowned Award ceremony. This is an event put on by the one and only Mr. Gregory Thornhill. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do, an event to put together. And what he's doing is honoring Black men in our community. People who have done different things, different businesses, organizations, things of that nature. And there's an award ceremony that's going on. There's different categories. One of the categories is best podcast category, and I may be saying that the category name wrong, but you get the gist of it. And I want you to know that I am in that category. I am honored and blessed to be recognized and nominated to be in that category. I'm humbled because I do this for you guys. I do this for you. But I'm humbled and I'm honored to be a nominee for best Is I think the name of it Best Podcast. Whatever you'll see it if you go on to do the vote. But um, it's just an honor just to be recognized. As far as there's in this situation, I don't see any winners. I don't see any losers. The nomination alone is a win for me. But you can go to vote for that category. Is a link on my web page, not my Facebook page, if you will, to where you can go and click on the link. It'll open up the ballot. It'll give you all the different categories and all the people that have been nominated. So I'm asking for you to submit your vote for yours truly. However, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I feel like this. Even though it's a award show, which that obviously the winner be the one that get the most votes. I'm asking for your vote. However, if you go on there and you see something or somebody that their particular broadcast benefits you more than what mine does, you know, don't vote for me just because you may know me or know who I am or whatever the case may be. But if my platform benefits you, if you get something out of my platform that you get that or more out of my platform that you get for others, obviously I want you to vote for me. But if you get more out of somebody else's platform and you listen to them more, whatever the case may be, then vote for them. So, even though I'm soliciting your vote, but at the same time, I want whoever the winner in that particular category, I want it to be because they have benefited someone or impacted somebody's enough people lives to where they are deserving of that award. So, but again, it's an honor just to be nominated. Again, that's the inaugural Black Men Crown Award ceremony, the 16th, July 16th at Grotto Hall. You can there's general admission tickets are $30. Looks like they have tables, VIP tables as well. Well, I don't know if it's VIP tables, but you can get a whole table. Tickets are $30 to attend the event. The tables are 350. They seat 8 people. So get your group of people to come on down and check out the ceremony. Again, is honoring the Black men in our community. Something we have never had really, in as far as any type of award show or any recognition for uh, um, Black men. But you'll see the categories if you go on my page, my Facebook page, and look at the categories. You'll see all the categories. I think they're honoring the Lifetime Achievement Award. I think that's going to Mr. Victor Randall, which is much deserving. Mr. Victor Randall is a well-known fixture in the Brent ballpark. He has been there forever. Has coached and mentored a lot of young men coming up. Matter of fact, when I first started coaching 30 some odd years ago, Victor was coaching, and I started at Brent as well, and he was there when I got there. That was 30 some years ago, and he's still there. And he has coached his kids, his grandkids, and I think he's on great grandkids now. But anyway, go to my Facebook page, cast your vote. I'm soliciting your vote, but vote for the person you feel that is best fit for whatever category. But I am in the category of best podcast. And again, I may be screwing that up as far as what the name of the category is, but go vote. Go vote. I appreciate it. So, getting on with this show. Getting on with the show. Today's show. A fatherless child. Talking about my story. We're going to talk about that today. Um, and I'll tell you how that came about here in a moment. Also, we're going to look at the news of the day. We're going to look at the situation with the Orange Idiot, his legal troubles, how things are kind of caving in on him at this point. We'll talk about that as well. But here again, we are on WPMM Internet Radio. Let me go ahead and read disclaimer. Let me get that out the way. The views and opinions expressed by individual radio hosts and guests are of their own and does not necessarily reflect the position of WPMM Radio. WPMM does not intend to align with any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. All right, now that we have taken care of that. With the show today, if you're listening on Facebook, go ahead and share. Go ahead and share. Also, we're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitch. You can tell Alexa to play WPMM. We're on TuneIns. We're also on iTunes, or go to WPMMradio.com and listen. Download the app at the Google Play Store or the Apple Store as well. We are on all those platforms, or just text someone, WPMMradio.com. All they have to do is click on the link, hit play, and they can listen to the show as well. All right. Today, I want to hear from you. I was going to start out with the news, but I think I start out a fatherless child, and I want to talk about a fatherless child. And I put that on there as my story. Um, I don't talk about myself too often. I don't talk about myself. Um, I am somewhat of a private person, if you will, when it comes to my personal business. There's not a whole lot of people that I tell a lot of things in regards to my private business. Um, General stuff, we'll talk about it all day long. But as far as personal, I don't talk about it. Being a fatherless child, I put myself in that category as being a fatherless child, and I do a lot of talk about the role of a father figure in your life, in male or female. I've done several shows on the topic, the importance of having a father figure in the home. That topic has also, or that link has also came up in conversations about our youth, as far as our troubled youth. Uh, some of the reasons why our youth are in trouble because of fatherless homes. Um, Not that I'm putting all the blames on fathers, because it's not always just fathers that is to blame, but a fatherless home can be is indicative of a lot of issues that go on in our daily lives and in our community. Fatherless homes is indicative of the rate of people that are institutionalized. And when I use that word institutionalized, I mean in our prison systems. Um, a lot of it is a result of a fatherless home. Many, the stats show that many of our young men that are incarcerated today, I think it's somewhere around 80% that came from a fatherless home. So it is very important. But with my story, I am a product of a fatherless home. And some people that may know me from back in the day, wait a minute, Gerald, what are you talking about? Back I remember back in when you was in kindergarten and first grade. I remember a father being in your home. You can be in the home and still not be a father. So, for people who didn't grow up in my neighborhood and didn't know my story, obviously I'm old school. I'm an old guy. So I was born quite a few years ago, and I was born into uh, a two-parent home, and I'm gonna use that term loosely. I was born into a two-parent home. Uh, my mother and the person who assisted her in creating me were a married couple. Um, my recollection, they were married for a total of 14 years, somewhere in there in that 13, 14 year period. There was a total of 5 children that was produced in that particular union. I'm not saying it was a healthy union, but it was a union in itself. It was a married couple. So I wasn't born what people will put in the classification as a bastard child, and I use that term in the way that it's supposed to be used. A bastard child is a child that is born out of wedlock. So I was a product of a 2-parent home. However, at the age of 8 is when I remember that unions splitting, if you will, or the the male figure left the home and the separation took place and the divorce followed shortly thereafter. I was 8 years old. But here's the thing: out of those 8 years, I still felt like I was in a fatherless home because there was no father son relationship going on at any point in time in my recollection of those 8 years. And I can remember back as far, even though I'm getting older, but my brain can take me back all the way, probably around the age of 3. Because I can remember at 3 and 4 years old, I can still remember going to my grandmother's house, and I can still remember the things we did in the neighborhood when I was a young kid. Um, so I do have recollection of my childhood, but I do not have recollection of a relationship with the person that was currently married to my mother and the person that was deemed to be the legal and biological father to myself. Um, I remember all the chaos. I remember the physical, verbal abuse. I remember all of that within those 8 years. And I remember the day he did leave the house and technically moved out. I remember that day. And I remember almost breathing a sigh of relief. I remember being happy on that day because I was happy because I was like, okay, my mom is not going to take any more abuse in this situation. So I was happy about that, and at the same time, I felt that he was a stranger. I didn't know him. I knew he was a man that was in the house, but I didn't know him. I didn't know anything about him. Didn't know of him. Didn't have any interactions with him. And it is sad to say, it is sad to say this, but I'm gonna say it. Um, my whole childhood, if you will, even those 8 years that that particular individual was in my home, I have never received a hug or never received an "I love you" from anyone, whether it's been my biological parent or any male figure growing up. I've never received a hug or an "I love you" from anyone in that particular role, and that kind of thing stuck with me eh, for years because um, I'm not real touchy feely, if you will, when it comes to other people, and that's probably one of the reasons why. Because I didn't grow up feeling that type of love, so I couldn't give it, if you will. So, but anyway, I spent my whole entire youth growing up doing things that I thought were somewhat impressive. I grew up with the mentality that I will grow up one day and be the father that I never had. Uh, I grew up proving or with the agenda to prove to myself that I did not need, and that key word is need, that I did not need a father to be successful and to grow up and be someone who my kids can look up to one day. I never allowed myself to feel like I needed a father. So, I went on in life as a child and I did some things and, some miraculous things and some, real positive things as a child, stayed out of trouble. Uh, you know, Started playing instruments and got incorporated into sports and this, that, and other. But I didn't know what it was like to look up in the stands and to see my father sitting in the stands cheering for me, or to have my father being a coach, or to just have that support to where, going out in the backyard and throwing the baseball, or going to the basketball court and shooting basketball with a father or a father figure. I never had that, so I couldn't miss it. You can't miss what you never had. So I didn't grow up feeling bad because I didn't have that, but I didn't realize how it may affect me down the road. Um, going into middle school, joining the band, and prior to middle school, I was playing sports and baseball player, damn good baseball player. I was actually a pretty good baseball player. Dabbled in football as far as a youth, as far as kids. Dabbled in football just a little bit. Um, but I was a damn good baseball player. And I remember playing baseball down at the, excuse me, down at, back in the day, Terry Wayne Park was the place to play baseball. That was one of the spots. A whole lot of baseball players came out of that park. Um, I remember playing. I remember playing for Deacon Epps, Willie Epps. That was my first baseball coach, and I was young. I was younger than the other kids on the team. However, even though I was young, I played shortstop. I played shortstop on the team. Um, I can say pretty good baseball player, pretty good baseball player as a kid. And I remember they had all star selection, and I think I was 6 or 7, some 6 or 7 years old, and I wasn't selected for the all star team for this 6 and 7 year old. I was actually selected to the all star team for the 8 year olds, and I was either six. I might have been six because I was younger than everybody else on that team. But I was selected to play shortstop on the All Star team as a 6 or 7 year old on the 8 year old All Stars, and I thought that was one of the coolest things that could have happened at that point in time. But I still remember playing those All Star games, or whatever the All Star tournaments, and just looking in the stands and like, well, damn, there's nobody in the stands that's came there just for me. And the older I got, the more I kept recognizing those type of things. And I know if you just joined me, I'm talking about a fatherless child, kind of telling my story. I'm trying to let kind of letting you guys into my world for a hot second, if you will. I'm very private. I really don't tell a lot, but this particular thing came up and it kind of hit me in the face. So I'm talking about it today. But I came up as baseball player, played in the band. Eventually, started running track and was you know back in the day, back in the '80s when me and John Seldon was at Pensacola High School. We was eating up the track over there. We was the fastest two on the track team. I eventually joined the football team. I was the fastest kid on the football team. I've got many medals and trophies off the track, whatever. I got medals and trophies and scholarship offers off the football field, and I was looked at scholarship offers in the band and this, that, and other. So I did quite a bit growing up. But I can say that everything that I did, whether it was a band show or a sporting event or whatever, I always looked up in the stands and there was no one there. I didn't have that father figure there. Didn't know it was bothering me then. It took several years down the road to figure out that um, there was an issue there. Let's see. Um, and then the other day, just the other day, I was just simply, doing as I do, scrolling through my Facebook page or whatever case may be, and I came across a clip of a of American Idol, I think it was one of these competition shows, and there was an individual, a young man on there that came on that sung a song, and he, had sometime they give you the backstory prior to them auditioning. And he gave the backstory about his father, how his father had passed away a few months prior to him coming to audition, and his father is the one that got him into music, and his father was his rock and his mentor, and he went on to talk about all the positive aspects of it of his father. And I thought to myself, at first I thought to myself, that's if I leave this earth, that's how I want to be to my kids. I want my kids to talk about me in that same manner that that young man talked about his father that had passed on. And then it hit me. At that point, it hit me. It hit me like somebody just took a brick and just threw it at me and hit me in my head. And I realized that for all these years I had been focused on the fact that I did not need making sure that I was never in a position where I felt like I needed a father figure and would feel sorry for myself for not having that father figure. My whole life I made sure that I was never in position to have that need. But at that particular moment, I realized that I wanted a father. And when it hit me, the emotions came over me, and it was like the floodgates open, and I started, the tears started flowing, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? 55 years, I've never thought about the fact that I really wanted a father. I've been concentrating all this time on making sure that I never was in position where I felt like I needed one. And I've always stayed in the position where I felt like that my boys would never have to undergo what I went through, or coming up as a child, as a fatherless child. I always wanted to be the father that I never had, and I focused on that. But I did not. I just never stopped to think about the fact that I wanted I didn't need them. 55 years later, I think I done came out halfway decent. So I didn't need them, but I realized that I wanted a father. And I'm not even saying a biological father. I'm not even saying that I wanted the person that planted the seed to create me. I'm not even saying that I wanted that person to be my father. I'm saying that I wanted a father. I realized at that moment in time that I wanted a father. I wanted somebody to be with me at those baseball games. I wanted somebody to be in that yard throwing the ball, showing me how to catch the ball and how to swing the bat. I wanted somebody showing me how to play basketball. I wanted somebody to show me how to tie my first tie. I realized that I wanted all that. And like I said, it hit me hard. It just came out of nowhere. I didn't expect it. Wasn't I'm not a real emotional guy when it comes to showing outward emotion. I'm pretty controlled in my emotions in a lot of cases. But I mean, I cried like a baby. Like damn, I really for 55 years now I did not realize I wanted a father. And I think the situation with a lot of our young people nowadays that don't have their father in their life, they they don't they don't think the same way that I did coming up without that father figure. Because my goal was to be the father that I never had. I didn't want to be a deadbeat. I didn't want to be an abuser. I didn't want to be someone who will eventually grow up and die a lonely death. I didn't want to be that person. But we have our young people nowadays that get into that situation where they don't have that father in their life, and they just start wilding. They find someone who um, who may not be the best role model and cling to that person. Find somebody who may be living the flashy life. They have the fast cash and the cars and the guy that's sleeping with all the women and they always have money in the pocket, but they don't go to a job. You know, and I can see them gravitating towards somebody because they don't have that father. But I wish that these young people would have or could develop the same mentality that I had as a fatherless child. But we have to do as fathers, we have to do better. And I'm not putting everybody in the same bucket. I'm not casting a blanket over everyone. But as fathers, we have to do better and being role models for these young men. And as a father, you don't have to plant the seed in a child to be a child's father. And I am uh, I can testify to that as well. Um, that I have three sons. I have three sons, and out of the three, I have one that is not my biological son. I've raised him from an early age, from age of 3. That's my son, and with my three boys, they can't ever tell anybody that their dad told them to do anything wrong. They cannot tell anybody that their dad did not put forth all efforts to keep them on the straight and narrow. Because I didn't have that. I didn't have that person to go to with to ask for advice. I didn't have that person to just sit down and talk to about manhood. I had to develop my manhood just by living life. I had to develop into a man just by living life and trying to watch others. I've seen what I saw what I didn't want to be with my biological parent. I saw 100% what I did not want to be. And in those years that um, he dwelled in the same place that I did for those 8 years, I saw enough to know uh, what not to do as a man. And over the years, um, and it's sad for and a lot of kids are in the same situation. A lot of kids are in the same situation to where they have a father, they have a biological father, and that biological father is in the same city. That biological father may be in the same neighborhood that they live in, and they have no relationship with their biological father. I'm a native of Pensacola, lived in Pensacola all my life. My biological father, I been in Pensacola, lived in Pensacola for what I understand his entire life. But after the separation at 8 years old, as a child, I can remember seeing him twice from age 8 to about age 21, 22, somewhere in there. I remember two instances that I saw this biological parent who lived in the same city. I seen him once. Uh, I was in middle school, where it just happened to. I was at the store with my mom, and that individual just happened to be at the store. It's not like there was a visit set up. Um, and I remember only sentence I remember being spoken in that probably 15-second meeting is, "How are you doing?" That was one encounter from 8 to about 22, 21, 22. The next encounter, well, the other time I saw him was in court. To this day, I don't know, I don't understand why I went to court that day. And that when I say court, I wasn't in trouble. So I don't think I was there. I got locked up or anything. I actually went to child support court with my mother. I don't know what the circumstances were or how I ended up with her. I don't know if she was, I can't remember exactly the details, but I remember ending up in child support court with her. And he was in child support court. And in child support court, and again, I'm telling more of my business than what I would normally do. But in child support court, I remember this individual, this man who planted the seed to create me, um, along with five other siblings by my mother, or four other siblings by my mother. I remember him standing there talking to the judge about this child support situation. And I think this is what caused the hate, because I carried hatred for a lot of years. I mean, I'm talking hatred to the point to where if I see you I'm gonna do something to you. I carried that hate for a lot of years. Jesus had to work on me for a long time to realize I had to let go of that hate. But in that child support court hearing that day, why I was there, I don't know. He was talking to the judge, and this Negro had the nerve to say, "Well, I don't even know if they mind." So it pisses me off for people to say you look like your biological parent. That pisses me the hell off because I stood there and listened to this person say, "I'm not sure they even mind." So that created the hate, and I carried that hatred for a long time, and I had to let it go. I think I was probably in my 40s, 30, probably in my 40s before I was in a position where I could say that I had to let that go. But said all that to say this, a fatherless child, people don't know the impact of a child that grows up without a father until something happens. Normally, it's something negative that happens to the child or in the child's life when they realize that that fatherless home had a big impact on their situation, their current situation. Um, so I want to encourage, that's like I said, I done told more than I've told about my personal life in a public setting ever. But I want to encourage, particularly all fathers, but particularly black men who have children. I want to encourage you to make sure that you are a part of your children's or your child's life, regardless of the situation between you and the mother of that child. Make sure that you are in position to be a fixture in that child's life. That child may be like me, where he feel like he don't need you, but it took me 55 years to realize that I wanted a father. So be in your children's lives. Take care of your children. Your children, today in today's society, nothing is inexpensive. Everything costs is expensive. It's hard for that young lady to bear the cost of raising a seed that you helped to produce. So regardless of your relationship with that mother, be there for your children. And mothers, stop keeping these children from these fathers, that especially the ones that want to be in these children's lives. Allow these children to have access to their father, regardless of how you feel about them. Because the bottom line is, you felt good enough about them to lay down and create that child. But now after the child comes, then you want to, you know, say how bad he is and this, that, and the other, and keep him, keep the child away from him. If that father is not doing anything that's going to put your child's life in jeopardy, allow that child to be around their father, especially the ones that want to be fathers. Stop putting a dollar amount on a relationship with these kids. We don't need to be saying, well, you're not seeing your child if you're not paying child support. And that's vice versa. That goes for, if the father have the kids and the mother, vice versa. It goes both ways. We're not. Let's stop putting a bounty on these children. Let's stop putting a caveat on if these children can have relationships with their father. They have to do this in order to see their children. They have to pay this in order to see their children. Let that child see their father. Like I said, if that father is not putting that child in danger, let that child see that father. And if he is putting him in danger, and if he want to, he's still trying to see the child, just go through the courts to where everything can be done in order, proper supervision, things of that nature. But allow that child to be around the father. That child is not a pawn. That child is not a bargaining tool. That child needs that father, and they want that father in their life. So I'm encouraging all the fathers to step up. Any father out there that's not doing what they're supposed to do, I'm encouraging you. I'm imploring you to step up and get a relationship with your children, particularly the young kids. Particularly the young kids. As adults, once your child become an adult, then you both have to make adult decisions on what type of relationship that you're going to have as adults, because the child relationship is over at that point in time. Now you're two adults, and even though you're maybe father son, whatever the case may be, father daughter, uh, you're still adults, so you have to make adult decisions. But as a child, no child should be wondering where mom is, where dad is, why dad don't come see what me, why mom don't come see me. No parent that's not in the household with their child should be sitting there with saying, "Well, my child didn't call me. If they want to talk to me, they can call me." Bullshit. Contact your children. A fatherless child. These kids need their fathers. It took a long time for me to realize that I wanted one, but these kids want their father. So step up, people. Step up. Um, wow. Wow. That was supposed to be like a 5 minute segment. A 5 minute segment on 5 10 minute segment on fatherless child, and I was supposed to move on to other news. However, I think I had to tell my story. I had to tell my story because I think my story is can help somebody, and that's why I do this. I do this to help people. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, but I do this to help people, whether it's giving them information in regards to politics, community situations, organizations, crime, whatever the case may be. I do this to inform people, to help people, to educate people, and I felt like my story could possibly help somebody. It took me 55 years to realize. Um, we got a couple. Mr. Pugh, I apologize. I didn't see your comment earlier. Mr. Pugh said he can identify. Mr. Eric Reed, he said you share your experience more often. There are others that I believe that can do better with your guidance. Appreciate that, Mr. Reed. I definitely appreciate that. Um, like I said, I do this to help people, I'm not doing this for any monetary gain. I'm not doing it for any pats on the back. I do it because I care about people. I care about our kids. I care about our old people, our youth. Even though I may, sometimes I may separate myself and kind of stay in my corner a lot, but I still care about what's going on in our community, and that's why I do this show. That's why I do this show. And if I can reach just one person, if something that I say on any given topic, if it helps someone, or if it informs someone, or give them a different perspective or a different outlook, or whatever the case may be, I feel like my work is not in vain. It's the best feeling in the world when I'm out in public and somebody approaches me, and I don't know who they are, and they approach me and they tell me that they appreciate what I do. That is one of the best feelings in the world, because that's why I do it, to help other people. So, and with that being said, I started out the show talking about the gala of the awards show that's coming up on July 16th. Their first inaugural Black Men Crown Awards, that's on July 16th at Grotto Hall. I have been nominated for best uh, radio show, podcast, what have you. Um, you can go to my Facebook page and uh, go to that particular post. There's a link there that you can click on to cast your votes. I'm asking for your votes. However, if there's someone in that particular category who have touched your life more than I did, by all means, vote for that person, because it would be an empty vote if you vote for me just because it's me and somebody else is impacting your life. That person is the one who deserves that vote, not me. Just because you may know who I am or know me, don't vote for me because of that. If I'm impacting your life with anything that I say or do, then I welcome your vote. But if someone else is doing that, I thank you for listening. I appreciate you. I promise you, I love you to death. But uh, vote for the person that impacts you the most. So, um, Triple L, how you doing out there? Miss Triple L is with us tonight. Uh, she said that's why I voted for you for the award that you deserve. Oh, she's in Pennsylvania. Okay, Miss Triple L is in Pennsylvania. Um, I'm not sure if you're staying there, if you're coming back, but if you're coming back, wish you safe travels. You be safe while you're up there. Triple L, that's one of my ride or dies. She's been with me forever. One of the sweetest ladies I ever met in my life. Um, that's my girl, Triple L. That's my girl. Um, with all due respect, that's my girl. But we got my sister. Got my sister on. Um, Said got my vote. Keep me informed. I appreciate that. Okay, Triple L is up there for a funeral. My condolences to you and the family. Um, you have my blessings. You have my blessings. So, but yeah, the inaugural Black Men Crown Award ceremony that is July 16th at Grotto Hall. Again, go on my Facebook page and cast your vote. I welcome your vote. I've been nominated. It's just an honor and a pleasure to be nominated. So I appreciate your vote, and I'll be there on the 16th to cheer on whoever wins in my category and all the other winners, because we really need something in Pensacola like this. I commend Mr. Mr. Greg for doing this. Uh, Mr. Thornhill, I appreciate him putting this event on. We have never had anything in Pensacola such as this to honor the Black men in our community, and this is much needed, much needed. And I am so thrilled and honored to be a part of it. So I'll be there. Tickets are $30. Tables are $350. Um, I'll be there. But in the meantime, go on and put that vote in for the person you feel is worthy of whatever that category may be. So, Miss Akiria Peaks is on. She said, I already voted for you. I appreciate that, yeah, ma'am. I really do. I really do. Thank you so very much. So, but I'm gonna get out of here, people. I'm not even gonna cover the news. I may come back over the weekend and cover some of the news, but I thought this was gonna be a 10-minute segment, and it just turned out to take the whole show. But I'll probably be back on sometime this weekend to cover the news cycle. Trump is in fear of going to jail as they're still going through the tedious process, but I think we're getting close to him being locked up. We'll talk about that. Um, but I will be back on Monday on WPMM Radio. Be back on Monday, 6 o'clock p.m. Make sure that you join me. Trying to get this show in regards to relationships. I'll be reaching out to some people coming up here soon, talking about relationships. I've already kind of put the word in some people's ears as to who I want to talk to, just based on conversations that I've had with some people, some couples, some single people. We're going to talk about relationships on an upcoming show here real soon, so stay tuned for that as well. But in the meantime, we're going to keep educating, uplifting, and informing about what's going on in your community. Thank you once again for listening. Thank you for your votes. Thank you for the people who will go on and vote. I really do appreciate it. But until then, you people, y'all be safe. Y'all be blessed. And I am out of here.